Welcome to this podcast. I'm a host, Zach Schwartz, and today I have, you guys know I do this very rarely. I have once again ceded control of the podcast direction to these two gentlemen sitting in this Skype call with me. It's Michael Grau joining me, longtime friend. He's been on before, but making his podcast debut is Max Daugherty, a great gentleman that I was able to meet this past year and great friend of Michael Grau as well. Boys, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Zachary. How are you?
I'm doing well,
Well, good job, Zach.
There we go. I'm doing okay. Got my first dose, of the vaccine today, so I'm feeling, like Superman, ready to go. Got that Spider-Man ability, something like that, and we're ready to move.
Have you felt the government control the microchip yet?
Yeah, suddenly I'm really supporting, everything of the current administration. It's really weird, I don't know what happened there.
I started talking in Russian. It's kind of weird.
There's some nasty side effects for the second one, though, but nothing more than, fatigue, right? Because Allie and Bailey, when they came here for St. Patty's Day, they were knocked out on that second 24 hours, but then after that, they were completely fine.
Yeah, I know. I had the chance to schedule mine, 3 weeks from now, and the first day I looked at was a Friday. Of course, the second dose would have been the Friday before my commencement, so I was like, "Yep, that's not happening." But yeah, I have heard of that, and I've heard of a lot of people that are just fine. I mean, you could be like one of these Johnson & Johnson people and get blood clots. I guess that's a new thing that I haven't looked into. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts that they're recalling it after 6 issues. Imagine how many doses they've already given out, and to cancel it after 6. That's I feel like that's a almost an overreaction, considering every vaccine, every medication. When you're just taking allergy pills, it'll have a list of 30 symptoms at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of a gross overreaction, and since it's under such a big microscope, it's kind of taking it out of context, because nobody would make that if people died from Advil or too much ibuprofen or something.
Yeah. Which one did you guys get? Did you guys get Moderna or Pfizer?
Pfizer gang.
Gang. So.
Pfizer.
Yeah, I got Pfizer. I was surprised by it. I didn't feel the needle at all.
Oh, I hated it. I almost passed out afterwards, but that's because I hate needles. So I was just sitting in the chair. I'm like, oh, this is awful.
You gotta squeeze the nurse's hand and look away and count to 5.
Can't do that during COVID, buddy. And we're also not 14 or to 8.
I mean, you're gonna pass out regardless.
You can't hold the nurse's hand.
I know 15-year-olds that won't pass out, Michael. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm weird. I'm the opposite. I look into the needle. I watch it go in. I'm weird like that, I don't know why. Or when I had to get blood drawn, I watched my blood go through the tube.
No. The entire time?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time. You feel it fall out of your body. Well, not fall out of your body. It's sucked out of your body.
You can feel it. It feels almost, it just feels weird.
Yeah.
I think the only time I've gotten my blood drawn, and I'm supposed to get a blood test, a blood test soon. But the only time I did it, I almost felt like I was going to pass out, and I think I threw up as well, because just not a good feeling. And I can't believe that you like that. No wonder you're trying to get into the medical field.
Yeah, I guess, I've heard the stories of people who actually do all the work to get into medical school, and then day one, they're in anatomy lab, whatever, that, see blood, puke, don't do it, and can't do medical school. So I'm glad I'm not going to have that issue whenever I do end up going. But yeah, I'm just, and I don't, you guys, it sounds like you guys did yours in person. Mine was drive-through today, so I just got, yeah.
They have drive-through vaccination centers?
Oh, that's weird.
I think that's the biggest ones in Florida. Yeah, at the convention center in Orlando. I just went in. They had it was all really organized type thing like that. Went in, just this nice grandma, opened up my car door or whatever and stabbed me. Then you go in a parking lot and you sit there for 15 minutes and then you just drive off whenever you feel good.
We in BG, I got to give Bowling Green, like the city and the university, a lot of credit. They utilize the field house, so massive, like all the basketball courts. They probably had 42 nurses and stations, and they pretty much just worked everyone in. I think it was maybe a 20-minute process total from like getting there and then waiting 15 minutes. But it looked, from what I could like observe, it looked like they pretty much all had med students from Toledo doing it. So it was kind of cool. It was very efficient. It was a strange time. But you said you went back to Cincinnati
yeah, and I got to go back Saturday to get the second dosage. I was at a hospital, so I just went through. They're like, all right, are you this person? I'm like, yes. They're like, okay, looks like you. All right, go through. And then I sat there, got the shot, waited for 15 minutes. And they had, like, the home decor magazines and the deer magazines. And you kind of, like, leave through it like, maybe I should rewash the house a little bit. It has been looking a little dirty, you know. Only when you have, like, tons of free time. You're just
you're just trying to kill time. Like, I looked at Twitter for the first time in, like, not 2 years, but, like, in a year, since all this, all the cancel culture and all, like, the outrage stuff. I have not been an avid Twitter user recently, but I was bored enough to open that up for a good 10 minutes.
I didn't have a Twitter forever. Yeah, Michael, I deleted it. I was done with it. Then I got it back, and I spent at least an hour or two remaking my feed completely to just be sports and jokes and stuff like that, and get all the other and some stuff, some business stuff. But other than that, it's just sad that now you have to invest time into social media when back. I mean, you remember like 10 years ago, we just looked at it as news, whatever. Like, it was just people tweeting stuff. I mean, I just remember all the times I would just tweet, whoever was over with the boys would just tweet like for DM, and that was the thing, and that was just fun. And now it's just all like, if you don't tweet all this support for everything, you can't have a career. It's just crazy how the app itself has evolved.
Like for DM, what would the DM be?
The DMs would be just like us trying to hit on girls as awkward, like middle schoolers.
That might have been yours. I was looking for companionship and friendship.
This man was looking for companionship. All right,
like Lydia from Skyrim, that kind of companion.
I don't know that. I've never played Skyrim. I don't know that reference.
What?
This man.
He's never played Skyrim, dude. It's like one of the best video games ever.
Yeah, never played.
That's kind of disappointing.
I am a little upset. I'm hurt for you.
But at least you're cultured and play FIFA. It's fair.
At least you play one of the most popular video games in the world.
Yeah, honestly, like, very big downside that Daugherty and I have found from playing online together, because he'll come over and we'll just do like a co-op online. You play people from all over the world. 9 times out of 10, they do not have as good a Wi-Fi as BG does. So it's like lagging all over the place. It's got the red blinking light for the Wi-Fi or the matchmaking connection. It's awful.
Oh yeah, and that's funny because when you and I are playing Rocket League, stuff like that, we complain about our college Wi-Fi. You compare it to the rest of the world. It's like, okay, yeah, we do actually have it pretty good here in America. Like a lot of things, I think that people miss out on. Whatever direction you take that in. There's a lot of stuff that people just complain about here that. Yeah. They're like, I'll move anywhere. And it's like, okay, well, I'd certainly move to some countries, but it's like, make a list of countries you'd rather live in, than here.
Portugal, absolutely. Or just the western part of Spain. It's so inexpensive to live there and eat there and just kind of hang out. It's a lot cheaper than, like you're getting food there cheaper than Bowling Green. Which, I mean, relatively, it is hard to believe. BG is pretty cheap because you go anywhere else. Like, I guarantee you, if you go out to a restaurant, you want to order yourself a drink and some food, that drink and food is going to be significantly higher than around here. And don't you also in Florida pay like a tourist tax in certain parts?
I mean, I'm sure, you go to certain places and things are $1 or $2 more than they should be. I don't know how that balances out, though, with the fact that Florida has no state income tax. And then we have a toll system like crazy, though, as well. So there's like a bunch of... I'm sure it just evens out anyway.
Yeah, it's just deciding where you want to get where you want the money to come from.
I don't think I've been on the Ohio Turnpike.
The Ohio Turnpike's not that bad unless you're going like across the state. Then it's like a few bucks.
Yeah, whereas like if you drive like 15 miles or something like that on the Florida Turnpike, it's gonna be like $5. Like easily. Yeah,
I think you got to at least go from like, because if you take, I believe if you take the Turnpike from Cleveland to Bowling Green, it's only like $2 or $3 or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have an Easy Pass, so I don't really pay attention to what it costs, but I can't imagine it's that expensive, or at least not as expensive as Florida.
Yeah, not enough to make people stop from using it.
No, and the highways aren't bad either here. Like,
that's true. Yeah, can't really complain.
Yeah. Except for the cops, they're the worst. I'll back the blue, but not when they're pulling me over on the highway.
So it's convenient to you then?
I just think that there's a huge difference between highway patrol and like your normal everyday police officer, because I mean the highway patrol don't live in your community, and you're not like going through their community, so they don't really care as much. Like for example, in North Ridgeville, I'd say the cops are overwhelmingly very nice. Like if you're pulled over on the side, they'll come stop and see if you're having trouble with your car, or if my neighbor Beth Mower, she's the dispatcher, and she's always been able to help. Like when I hit a deer, they were able to like come and help me out. But overwhelmingly good experiences in North Ridgeville, at least in our small sample size.
Yeah, the nice suburb that you and I grew up in. 100%. I have the same experiences. So, Daugherty, you were the one thinking of topics. I don't know if you have a list or what.
It's a list.
I've been thinking things through as I've been sitting there. I'm like, I want their opinions on this. So first of all, do you believe in aliens, both of you?
You can go first, Zach.
100%.
Yes. Okay.
I have a flip on this. I have a devil's advocate play on this that I actually saw a while ago that I think's brilliant.
Okay.
So people obviously talk about, a lot of people I feel like are scared of aliens, right? Like what if they came down and hurt us, obviously took us over, type thing like that. Isn't it more terrifying though if there weren't aliens and we are the only planet in existence that has life? If you think about that and how royally we are messing this planet up, like that scares me more if there's not aliens.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, that's a good argument. I haven't heard that one. I've heard the probability argument, because I mean, I think Max, are you an avid Joe Rogan listener?
I do listen to Joe Rogan,
and like he's had enough people on there, like very smart people. Mm-hmm. Like I don't remember which one I was listening to, but he had I think he was like a Russian cosmonaut, not cosmonaut, astrophysicist, and they talked about, and I'll say yes, I do believe there are aliens. But I believe it because of the probability is too high that there are. Like, it's a lot less probable that there aren't. Mm-hmm. Just by sheer number of planets and galaxies, and just, I mean, you got to imagine. Plus, it's kind of cool to think about that maybe, I mean, I've watched those, the History Channel documentaries where there's like a bunch of like old... like the Pyramid of Giza.
Ancient aliens?
Yeah, ancient aliens is... I mean, I feel like 90% of it's BS, but, like, some of it's kind of cool. Like, everything... there's a bunch of, like, major ancient structures that are all on the same lateral line, which is kind of cool, but, like...
Beating me to my talking points.
Oh.
My next question was going to be, do you think aliens have been to Earth?
I feel like yes.
Yeah?
I feel like there's a chance if they knew. Dude, I got because they gave me a work phone, so I'm like allowed to check the phone during work, and I'll get like Apple News. I didn't read the article at all, so it might just be like an attention grabber. But it said something about how we're getting radio frequencies from space, and that there's a lot more incoming. So I don't know what that's about. I didn't read the article, but it sounds interesting enough.
It does sound pretty interesting. Zach, what are your thoughts?
I think yes, and almost. And I'm trying to pull up mine. Hang on, my webcam.
Are you young Jamie and Joe Rogan?
I'm trying to.
At the same time?
I've talked about how I need to hire an intern for fact checking.
Just have him jump on the call.
Because I've heard, and I can't remember where, and I'm just going to try to pull up an article, that since, all the atomic bomb tests, stuff like that, apparently UFO sightings have increased dramatically. So then, to me, my thing would be like, if you assume if the aliens can make it here and we can't make it to the aliens, right, then the aliens have to be more, developed than we are, just as a civilization. And yeah, so you see there's just a lot more since 1945 on. Oh my God, like a ton more. So then it's like, then my argument with that would be, okay, we actually created a weapon, the atomic bomb that actually drew the aliens' attention. And now they're just checking in. Like, what are these little? I mean, if you think about how
discovered rocks and spears.
Yeah, like how we look at chimps, if like they look at us like that, then they're just like checking in, like, are these guys gonna blow them up, or like what's going on here, or like, you remember when we were like this back 6,000 years ago? So I'd say yes, I think they have been.
So you think we have, and you think we've like recorded meeting them, like we have written it somewhere.
Wait. Wasn't there supposed to, like, there's supposed to be a debrief and, like, declassification, like, later this year, right? Of, like, all that the U.S. government knows about aliens? Is that still going to happen under Joe Biden? Not Sleepy Joe. Joe Biden.
President Joe Biden.
President.
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I don't see why they wouldn't. I think it becomes public knowledge as part of the laws. Like, once it hits a certain time after it's created and made classified, if so much time passes, it has to become unclassified.
Does it? If it pertains to national security, though, does it? If it still does.
Like, if it's still an active issue, I don't think it would have to. But if it's something like that, where it's like, hey, we found this unidentified flying object in the 70s, I think they should talk about it.
You know what I think would confirm it even more? If Joe Biden,
President
Biden, if President Biden decided to reclassify it and not release it, I feel like that's your answer.
Yeah,
like
there's if aliens there.
Like he has no out in this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really thinking that it was Trump's like last kind of like middle finger before he left, is like, I'm gonna expose the aliens.
Yeah. So Trump approved this was on the COVID bill. I don't know if you guys said that earlier.
Yeah. I remember that.
Is signed on December 27th. A 180-day countdown began, giving intelligence officials until June to deliver lawmakers the write-up about all the stuff they know about UFOs, stuff like that.
Okay, that's quicker than I expected.
Yeah, I mean...
What I was going to suggest is...
Oh, wait, hang on, wait. Well, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The Office of Senator... This article was just written the other day, or a couple weeks ago. The Office of Senator Mark Warner from Virginia, chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, declined to comment on the UFO report. A spokesperson for the director's office said, "We have nothing to offer." Yeah, I'm sure you guys do.
They're just not obligated yet to offer anything.
Yep.
Yeah, not yet.
But do you think they would actually tell us everything? Like, I feel like there's no way.
Depends on the extent of the knowledge.
But even if they would probably release the stuff they have early on, but, like, if they had anything recently...
I mean, if there was, like, a Federation, like, Star Trek style out there...
Oh, there's definitely not.
If there was, I feel like they wouldn't tell us, because that's just too big. Like, we'd have to be eased into it.
I mean,
but if they're like, we've met aliens, they seem chill, I don't think they're going to mess with us yet, I think they could tell us that.
Well, they also confirmed, was it the Defense or Air Force? Those videos that pilots took of, like, flying saucer-looking things going out in the ocean and just dipping in. They confirmed that. They confirmed that it's like a legit film taken off of the pilot.
So, how much of the ocean have we not explored?
Too much to make me not want to go in the open ocean.
Yeah.
Or not enough to explore.
Mm-hmm.
We've explored like
Look it up, young Jamie.
29%, like 71% of the ocean floor is like undiscovered or not undiscovered. Like we haven't really gone through it yet.
Well, what's on the ocean floor that would be of that much interest?
Well,
Wait.
Aliens are not hiding on the ocean floor.
They could be. Think about how much ocean floor there is that we haven't looked at. If they were going to hide anywhere, it'd be in that place because they know we're not going to go diving down there to try and find them because we wouldn't think to look there.
Okay, so the government, based in 2021, puts a number on it. Whatever the National Ocean Service puts a number on it. What do you guys think it is? That's unexplored.
Ooh,
I'm guessing 71.
I'm gonna guess a little bit lower at 65.
80%, boys.
The ocean or the ocean floor?
The ocean total.
That's terrifying.
Right? There could be aliens in there. We wouldn't know. And I think the aliens came, when I watched Ancient Aliens one time, they brought up a really good point.
You're gonna be, dude, after you're done working in the government, you're gonna be the dude that sits there and they're gonna make a meme about you going like this about aliens.
No. Think about it, alright? There are a lot of similarities across mythological traditions across the world. Like, if you think about, in Greek myth and Roman myth, and I know they're kind of similar because they borrowed a lot from each other, but in, Norse myth, they're, the main sort of hero, the main sort of strong figure, the father figure, was, wielding lightning, whether it was Thor in Norse myth or Zeus in, Greek myth. Why wasn't it maybe the same person? What if it wasn't a person? What if they called it a god because they couldn't figure out what they were seeing? And what they were seeing was an alien.
An alien that wields thunder?
If you think about it, that would just be how they describe technology. If you had to describe a bullet from a gun to someone from thousands of years ago, they wouldn't get it if you said, oh, the gunpowder fires after the mechanism is triggered, and that shoots the bullet out. And you don't see the bullet, but it hits someone and it hurts them. To them, that's like a clap of thunder kills someone.
I mean, I guess I can see it just because of the technological advances that we, as a society, has seen in the last, since we were kids, and we're in, the age of, booming technology, at least as of right now, it's exponentially growing. I remember the GameCube. That was a big deal when we were little. And now you can play games with more memory, more processing power on your phone.
Yeah.
On a handheld phone, and you get better graphics, you got everything. And we're using Daugherty's computer that isn't it that you have more processing power on your cell phone than they did to land someone on the moon? Isn't that something?
I think that's correct.
I think that's correct. I think I heard that somewhere.
I've heard of that too. I was also going to say to your earlier
point. That's kind of
point.
nuts. And imagine 10 years, 20 years. What'd you say?
I was just going to say to the earlier point too about that, completely agree. And then about your God point, Daugherty, is that there's a quote out there that magic is just science and technology you don't understand yet. So it's very possible. I mean, it really is. If you think about it, of course you have to take several leaps to get there. But why can't Aquaman exist? You know, what if Jason Momoa is taking the intellectual property of somebody else?
Jason Momoa is already built like a god, anyways.
Yeah,
I know.
He was a great guy.
Speaking of people built like gods, did you
see Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson for president. No, for president.
He's running for president?
Well, they made it. Ever since Trump won, and they can't media can't stop talking about it.
Oh, they just start testing other celebrities.
They did a poll.
They do it.
They did a poll across. I don't know who's doing these polls because I've never once been polled for anything.
Yeah,
I don't think you have either.
No,
but, whoever they're sampling, they asked probably I think they did the top 5 or top 6 males that America would choose, and I think 44, 45, 46%, somewhere in the 40% of people said if they had to choose a male celebrity, it would be Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It's because he's so muscular. He's going to protect us with his broad shoulders.
He's a big, strong man figure for sure. Where's he out of? Is he out of Cali or Florida?
Probably LA now, but I think he grew up in Hawaii.
Yeah, he's from Hawaii. He went to the U for college, to Miami for college.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
He played football.
Oh. What position did he play?
Defensive end. So, this is obviously before the roids.
Massive human.
I would not want to line up against Dwayne The Rock Johnson after, like, 5th period algebra. And you come out and you see that man who looks like he's eating someone else, then bench them.
Literally.
And
Literally.
It's against.
It's crazy.
I mean, I think he could do it. He's a better speaker, and I feel like more rational than Donald Trump. And he was just a celebrity that ran and won.
I'd have to see what his policies were before I'd vote.
I feel like he wouldn't be anything like crazy. Like he's not. He's also rich, so he's not going to get bought off.
I know,
either.
but I just can't vote for someone because I like him. I feel like I have to know.
How do you think
JFK
JFK got voted? People thought he was attractive, and they liked him, so therefore he was voted. I'm pretty sure that's like not a made up thing either. I'm pretty sure that's one of the main reasons he won.
He did better in a debate because Richard Nixon didn't want to wear makeup because he thought makeup was feminine. However, he didn't realize that if he wasn't wearing that makeup, people would see him sweating on television. So they saw this sweaty politician versus JFK looking like a movie star, and they're like,
the movie star.
Yeah.
I know who I'm going to vote.
Short-lived, though.
Yeah, I think I've talked about this on a couple different podcasts, actually. The most recent being my one with Olivia Salter. I was trying to look up the episode number. I don't know. It was a couple months ago. But I've discussed The Rock as president because to me, I'm with you, Michael. I'm not necessarily against a celebrity being president because I think it's, in a lot of ways, it's almost as if they're obviously the executive leader. But
yeah,
I think you guys also have seen this in your different fields too, is that when you're the executive leader, you almost don't do as much work. You know, like there was a quote I was told early in my college career is like, the funny thing about science is the higher up you advance in science, the less science you actually do. You're more setting terms of the lab. You're more setting the culture. So to me, I think Trump was a completely wrong celebrity. I mean, he's always been an asshole since the 80s. Like, he's just that type of thing. I think
that's his personality, though. That's what made him famous.
Yeah.
So you didn't think to change it, or that's really how he is. He might just be an asshole.
And I think what you said too, him not being able to get bought off. Like, obviously, like the politics are swimming with back scratching, stuff like that. That's why something as simple, or should be as simple, as getting Americans relief in the COVID bill ended up being 5,500 pages last December. Is because I'm going to help you out by putting this in. You're going to put this in for me, and I'm going to do this. And then we're going to do this, and yeah.
What's the term of adding stuff to a bill?
Oh,
it's like pork
something.
Pork. I don't know. It's just adding
maybe pork only.
Pork. Yeah, it's essentially just adding like fat to the bill and be like, oh, but my constituents want a 10,000 farmers relief package or something stupid, or other stuff like that. But it's ridiculous. I think that a celebrity would give depending on who it is. I think The Rock is a very normal person. I think that's kind of what we need.
I mean, you got to remember that all of these people are cultivated. They have images cultivated by their agents. Whenever something bad goes out, they basically have someone who's working full-time to make sure that people don't see that. And that's kind of what happens when you start running for public office, is they try and find those things that have been hidden because they want to make sure, you're not electing someone with a history of problems that's been hidden into public office.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is... The good thing, Daugherty, is that there's never been any politician who's ever had a scandal. No sexual scandals or money scandals.
You're liked enough. Like, the amount of scandals that Biden had before he got elected, the amount of scandals Trump had while he was getting elected, like both of those two are littered with, like, dirty doings, bad, like, paying off, bribery.
Dirty doings?
Dirty doings, yeah. You can't grab someone.
Dirty doings?
Dirty doings.
I think there's a better word for that. That sounds like a weird 70s band. They're like a funk jazz exercise.
You want to hear a good band?
Yeah.
Hot Glue God. Look them up on YouTube. No, that's
Is it you?
No, it's not me. It's Brian.
Oh.
It's Brian, Luke Langle, who we played soccer with.
There's no way they still have this page up.
Rockin' Ryan Campbell with his red guitar or something. And then, who's the third?
Rockin' Ryan Campbell with his red guitar. Well, gee willikers, that sounds like a real musician.
He was in Boy Scouts with Brian and I until he decided to move out to California.
The triple R alliteration is just too much.
Rockin' Ryan Campbell.
Yeah, Rockin' Ryan Campbell with the red guitar is just too many R's.
It's kind of funny, though.
I feel like I'm putting my mouth on a roller coaster just trying to get around the rock and roll.
There's a band called Hot Glue Gun from Illinois. If you do look this up, people, this is not who we're discussing. They probably are actually a good band.
We're talking about the Hot Glue Gun from
North Ridgeville, Ohio. They debuted in middle school.
Some say they changed music forever. I'd say that's selling them short. I'd say they really revitalized music as a whole.
They changed the meaning of rock and roll.
People now listen to music for enjoyment because of them.
They were bangers, though, when we were in middle school. Like, we thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We still have it downloaded to my mom's Honda Odyssey. So, like, we put the CD, because, like, you know, the CDs were, like, relatively popular when she got the van. So we put the CD in, and when you put it in, it automatically downloads it to the car. So sometimes when we're just driving and we're bored, my mom will just turn on Hot Glue Gun, and we'll just all just kind of laugh, because everyone's voice was, like, 10 octaves higher.
Yeah.
That's how you got to start as a boy band, man. The Jonas Brothers didn't have deep voices.
That is true.
One of my favorite things about podcasting is talking about other people. Not trash talking, but just talking about other people or other episodes and seeing who actually listens. Because then I get a text and be like, hey, like, why was I mentioned? Or like, that was funny. I just wanted to go back to...
Which one is from?
What'd you say?
Because we can see if they're listening again.
This is how you test your friends,
This is how you
Zachary.
test your friends.
You start just name-dropping them. The next podcast, you're going to be like, oh, when Max was in here, he was a menace. And then I'm going to text you next week like, yo, hey.
No, yeah, I mean, there's not too many people, I will say. I think many people... I mean, I also do a lot of sports talk on here, so I don't think I don't reference other conversations too much on here, unless it's just my failed predictions.
We need to get on Harry Maguire's slander
Harry Maguire!
podcast. Yeah.
What do you mean slander? He's
He's the worst center back in the league by far.
He's the greatest man to touch a soccer ball.
Van Dijk's better. He's injured. Like, he can also probably run quicker too.
Wait, how about Barcelona, Zach? How are they doing?
You know, I was at my friend's house at the beach. It was a nice pool party day type thing. He had an outdoor TV, and I was like, you got to make sure the game's on. And I just wish the game wasn't on. It's been a tough year for Barcelona, and I've finally gotten hopes of the league back, you know, that we might actually win it. And we still could, I guess. We still have to play Atletico. But if you can't beat Real Madrid without Varane and Ramos at the same time, like they were playing their third and fourth choice center backs, I'm like, I know we have a ton of injuries too, but I just I don't know what, the tactics were all wrong. It's just frustrating. And I just hope Messi stays. I wouldn't blame him if he doesn't, though. Sad.
Go bankrupt? Isn't Barcelona like set to go bankrupt?
They're only like $1 billion in debt. Okay, that's not a problem, but
that's light work, right?
At least Phil Foden didn't hit a screecher on you to end the game. Well, didn't end the game, but to win it.
Yeah.
You know what it's like to have Phil Foden score on you from like across the field? Doesn't feel good.
I can imagine. And for people not understanding, Daugherty is a Dortmund fan. Michael, I'm not sure if first time you were on here talked about you being a Chelsea fan as well, just so people understand the different perspectives here on the soccer talk. But yeah, the thing about the debt is
valid.
Hey, we're still. Hey, I represent the only team that's still in the Champions League right now. So, I don't
and the podcast is over.
Hey, a draw. You draw who you get, and you deal with the consequences.
You're gonna have to play big money here eventually, buddy.
Which big money? We're gonna play two big monies. Well, yeah, Real Madrid, huge money. That's who we're gonna play next, and then who's on the other side of the table that's still in? It's City and PSG. Yeah, so either way, we're playing billionaires. I mean, I think we might be the lowest funded club on the table, and we still spend billions.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually true.
And that's the thing with Barcelona, like with the debt thing, like because you're right, like they have issues and stuff like that, and then they're rumored to be going after Erling Haaland this summer, which would cost 150 million euros and stuff like that. Everyone's
going after Erling Haaland.
And then, like, they're the highest revenue-generating club in the world. So, like, I don't know what to think with, with NFL finances or NBA finances. I'm very good with it. I understand the cap, the salary cap. I understand all this stuff. With the soccer stuff, because Real Madrid's in massive debt, too. And I just don't understand how, like, it works. Like, Atletico is, too. Especially because Barcelona isn't owned by an owner. It's owned by the club members, technically. It's owned by the people.
That's a terrible thing to be a club member. You're about to get taken to the bank.
So it's a weird structure.
That is a weird structure.
I was just going to say that I hate it, how it's structured, where you can get away with financial fair play as long as you spend more money to make it disappear, a.k.a. Man City.
Yeah, it's a little sus.
When Chelsea gets in trouble, we get banned from transferring people for a year or two.
Because you guys are the real villains.
No, we're not. We just don't want to pay off the league.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue Abramovich, when he bought Chelsea, started this whole thing in the Premier League, Michael.
Was he the first oil money team to pop up? Or I'm pretty sure City was before Chelsea.
I think so, because when did City make their comeback? When did
City
they
started becoming relevant like 10 years ago when they got bought by some, Middle Eastern, either princes or like billionaires.
That makes sense.
From oil money.
Where is Etihad from? Etihad is
UAE, I believe.
UAE.
So I think that's where they bought it, because that's why they have the arena, and now it's on the front of their shirts.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to spend $1 billion to buy a club, I'm going to put my logo on it.
Well, see, and it's tough for you guys, because like the big clubs like you guys spend a lot of money to bring in these new talents. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But, even if you're spending all this money, you might not necessarily win. We just get these good players, we develop them, we give them a place to shine, and then they get sold. So we can never, I feel like we're not building. We do have these core players that stay with us, like Matt Hummels, Marco Reus.
I mean, it's still a business, though.
I know it's business.
And Dortmund is doing fantastic. Mm-hmm. Another team that's really great at developing youth and then shipping them out for 100 times their worth is your favorite Netherlands
Ajax.
team, Ajax.
Yeah,
Ajax is
yeah.
great. I mean, you overspent on a half-baked center midfielder, right?
Oh, you do not talk about Frankie de Haan like that.
He's not good. He could not even start for Chelsea right now.
Oh, I don't know about that, buddy.
No,
he's pretty good.
He's all right. He's fucking amazing. No,
you are lying.
So overpaid, though. You should have gotten him for half of it, and then it would have been worth it.
The problem is he's so young.
Same with Timo. He's way overpaid as well.
Okay, you guys use him.
No, it's because he's very, very out of form, and he hasn't been in form ever since Chelsea got him.
The thing is, when you're Barcelona, you're not paying for 4 years of that player. You're paying for 10, 15, because there's not many clubs that'll buy off of Barcelona unless it's Barcelona's like, get out, we don't want you. So, there's no bigger club. So, when Frankie de Jong's 21...
A bigger club. Real Madrid's a little bit bigger than Barcelona, right? More fan base.
Yeah, but they don't transfer. They don't do that. They hate each other.
It's true. Or you can just be PSG and just buy up whoever you want.
Abramovich took over in 2003, by the way, 5 years before Manchester City got bought. So Chelsea was first oil money.
There we go. Now it's Russian mafia money.
Are you going to say that, or are they going to come after you?
No, I love Roman Abramovich.
Oh, okay.
He's making our team great.
There's a whole section on his Wikipedia. Oh, go ahead.
You're looking at Wikipedia. I was going to say Roman Abramovich is very appreciated because he made us become relevant. Because the quickest way to become relevant is to just inject money. Because, United's always been a big club. Barcelona's always been a big club. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich for at least the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. Dortmund, Arsenal, all these historically good clubs. But you need some extra cash Because Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, those are the clubs you want to go. Like, if you're a superstar, you're like, I want to transfer there. I'll go for free if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's saying that to Chelsea, except for apparently Thiago Silva. But I think we're the only club that would take him.
He's like, oh, go to Chelsea, and they're like,
He's good though. He scored a few times.
Yeah.
And he plays really well. He's no Gerard Piqué, but we'll take him.
I'm still not over the Frankie de Haan slander earlier. That's my favorite. That's my new boy. He's so good.
Do we want to get Dembele slander too?
I mean,
he's a huge for you guys as well. He just keeps getting injured.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about the money that we got from PSG for Neymar, however many years ago, it was basically Dembele and Coutinho, and that's a disaster. It's a disaster for us if you really think about it. If you almost look at it like an NBA trade, which it wasn't, but disaster for both of those things because Coutinho sucks too.
For Corver.
Yeah.
Corver does have a ring.
That's fair. The best though for Barcelona was MSN. That was probably the most entertaining trio to watch.
Messi,
for sure.
Neymar, and
Suarez. They were so
Suarez
good.
that bit people?
Yes, he's the Suarez that bit people. Hey, when you love the game that much, you got to take a bite out of someone.
No, I've never once been enjoying a game, but I need to eat someone right now.
Well, I think it was more of a frustration bite.
It was
hungry. I mean, when he was
teething. He had to let people know he was upset with
Who did he take a bite out of? It was an Italian guy. One of them was an Italian.
It was during the World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an Italian guy during the World Cup.
Chiellini.
And then there was one, right?
It's Chiellini.
Oh, Chiellini. Who was the second?
He bit somebody at Ajax years ago, like years before then.
Wasn't he Higuain?
I don't think Higuain played for Ajax.
No, I think he got bit though, didn't he?
Oh, he probably did. People bite, but Suarez was the most notable.
You're saying this commonly occurs? You're saying if you just kind of got your jaw near someone in a soccer game and take a little munch.
I mean, if you
one's gonna give you a sideways eye.
Push him around enough, I guess. I don't know. Just
bite me.
Take a bite out of him. I'm not biting you.
Hey, Suarez was a joy to root for. I'm so sad. He just needs to be on your team to love him. That's what you need to learn. But yeah, 2015. I mean, that was the peak for Barcelona. That was such a great season.
All downhill from.
Yeah, it really did. It really did.
Just like how it's all downhill for the Detroit Lions.
There would have to have been an uphill for the downhill to occur for the Lions.
It's been a steady
Yeah, this is also
the
the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah, you're a Cincinnati fan. None of your sports are good.
Yeah, I can't.
Even your Reds aren't that great.
No, the Reds have been really good.
Well, I mean, it's the start of the
season. They've been on a winning streak.
I think time to blow it.
13 in a row.
Well, Cleveland's absolutely trash. They refuse to pay their players enough.
No, I don't watch the MLB anymore.
I refuse to too. It's really boring.
Yeah.
Well, Zach, have you been watching the MLB?
Absolutely not. I was out in the MLB 3 years ago.
Yeah. I don't watch NBA either. It's kind of boring.
Well, no, I watch the NBA. I like the NBA, but the MLB, it's because they didn't strip the title from the Astros. It's like, if you're not going to punish, if you're not going to punish the cheaters, I'm not going to even bother.
Why you watch soccer? They don't punish the cheaters either.
That's different.
That's not different.
That's different.
UFC.
Ever since Jones was vacated titles.
Well, yeah, they did strip him of them. But I was going to say, ever since we started being neighbors, I started watching UFC a lot more. Mm-hmm. It's actually kind of interesting, but
big card next weekend.
Not having to do that for a living.
Oh, no, dude. Imagine getting up in a cage against Peter Yan.
Yeah. Or John Jones. Or who's the heavyweight contender right now? Francis Ngannou.
Oh, he's
the champion.
Yeah, that man is terrifying.
That man's got hip power like nobody's business. What is it, like the equivalent of a Ford F-150 in every punch?
Yeah, that's what they said before the match. And then you watch Stipe get absolutely clocked 8 times and stay up. It's like, dude,
He just got hit by a truck 8 times in a row, and he's kind of stumbling around like, I think I still got this one in the bag. Like, no, get out of there, man.
He got killed. I think anyone who fights him is going to have to take a hefty, you're going to have to pay someone a lot to get in a ring with him.
The only one that could match his power is Derek Lewis. Maybe a souped-up John Jones. John Jones said he's getting up to 250 for that title fight that he's going to have, moving up from light heavyweight to heavyweight. And, of course, you can't count the fact that John Jones has technically never lost. I mean, he's never lost. He had one disqualification that was BS. That's his only loss ever. So that's the thing. But the only one that I could think of that can match power is Derek Lewis. And Derek Lewis is 265, just as big. So, who knows?
Derek Lewis is as... I mean,
he's not
he might be as strong, but he's the bigger dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of got a gut.
You remember the one? Yeah, he was the knockout we saw where he went kind of an uppercut and it cut the guy's jaw right here.
Yeah.
And the guy just kind of flattened and fell over.
I mean, he still hits like a freight train, but I would imagine if it's going the distance for rounds, I would imagine Ngannou has a lot more stamina.
Would you guys take $1 million to take a punch in the head from Francis Ngannou?
I don't think that covers the bills, buddy.
No, absolutely not.
We're gonna need a new brain after that one. Wait, do you have headgear or just flat out
Well, he wouldn't hit you to kill you.
I feel like if he hit 50% to a normal person, they would probably have a lot of issues. Because your neck's not strong enough to keep your head from rattling back and hurting and giving you a massive concussion.
Okay, so you're saying one hit from it would be...
I think you'd probably die if you got hit.
Oh.
I think at least you would have a severe concussion.
Easily.
I think a person.
Let's hope none of us are in a position to find out.
Yeah. Well, Zach, you've seen UFC people. If you see Francis Ngannou, you better pay for his ticket and ask him for a fight. Just get a sneaky one on him. Just try to bait him.
Yeah.
That's $1 million settlement right there.
I know, that's crazy. There's an awesome card next week. I don't know if you guys have been looking at it. Masvidal's fighting Usman again, and then there's 2 other women title fights on the card next week.
Which women?
Shevchenko's defending flyweight, and then Zhang Wei Li is defending strawweight against Thug Rose Namajunas.
Thug Rose. Those girls are terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Absolute monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone or did you watch the Rogan podcast where they had Clarissa Shields? Did you listen to that one?
The champion boxer, right?
Yeah, the champion boxer.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. I'm because I listen to podcasts on my way to work because I'm there for an hour at a time. May as well learn something or at least hear some kind of entertainment. But I'm she doesn't sound huge, but because now he does visuals with his podcast. I opened up my phone. I'm this woman's absolutely massive, and it's actually terrifying. Apparently, she's going to start doing MMA and eventually make her way to the UFC in 4 or 5 years. So that'll be pretty entertaining. She's probably the only person that could match Nunez, yeah. I think
she's got a long road to get there.
Well, she said it herself. She said if I fought Nunez right now, it wouldn't be fair to me because I wouldn't be able to give her a good fight because if you go down to the ground, she's losing every time. Because if you're only standing up, it's the same thing what happened to your buddy. Israel
Adesanya.
Adesanya got absolutely taken. He got absolutely worked on the ground.
I know. He was good on the standing up, but as soon as they were wrestling and grappling, it was game over.
I also don't think he weighed enough. He looked undersized, big time.
Jan was huge. Jan is a legit 225.
Man. Yeah. This is what I imagined if Daugherty started doing performance enhancing drugs and got a little taller. That's what I imagined Daugherty would look like.
That's exactly it. We're actually cousins. I don't know if Jan's aware. I'm going to have to give him an Instagram DM hey, I'm your long-lost cousin, just smaller.
This man does not have enough brain cells to figure out whether that's true or not.
Dude, he speaks in a different language. That man's very smart.
No, I'm sure he's smart, but he's got hit. My point he's gotten hit in the head too many times to be like a fully functioning human, you know?
I think they're probably still pretty smart, especially.
I mean, yeah.
Everyone's got different talents and abilities, so they might be really good at fighting people. They might not be the most articulate.
This is true.
But he could be very articulate in Polish. We don't know. We don't listen to him in Polish.
Zach, you're a big UFC guy. Do you think? Crap, I'm struggling to find his name. The guy who just retired.
Khabib.
Do you think Khabib will come back?
No.
And do like a Mayweather like multi-million-dollar fight just to do it?
No.
I think there's only two possibilities that would happen. He fights George St. Pierre, which St. Pierre's not into. Or Conor gets like the lightweight title back, which he would have to beat multiple killers to get there. He's 6th in the rankings right now. And then starts making hay, making like all the crap talking, all like that. That's the only way I could actually see it. Either one of those, and I don't think either one of those things are happening.
McGregor's too reformed now. He's like an actual like respectable adult now. It's weird. Like, have you seen him like post-match interviews and like pre-match stuff? He's like matured a lot.
Him and Poirier were just going at each other on Twitter the other day.
Really?
About a donation to Dustin's charity that was unpaid, or apparently unpaid, and Conor said all this stuff that he didn't have a plan for, and that's why he didn't pay it. And Dustin's like, "We did have a plan for it. You said it was for this." And Dustin ended up coming out and apologizing, actually, even though he was saying like you just didn't pay the charity type thing, which is kind of a funny thing to apologize after. And full disclosure, those are Dustin Poirier's shorts behind me, so obviously a big fan. But yeah, like it was a really interesting thing that Dustin came out and apologized afterward, because he's always been a really nice guy. So who knows? Maybe Angry Conor or whatever is back. So we'll see. That fight's in July. I'm excited for that one, and that one's in Vegas. So
Who is it?
Who is it?
Who is it?
Conor and Dustin for the trilogy.
The trilogy.
I didn't know they were doing a trilogy.
So McGregor gets to beat the pulp out of Dustin
If he can.
for a second.
If he can.
I think, I wouldn't put it past either of them, because it was a really close fight.
It was a very
All it
good
takes
fight.
is one stumble, and then you're gone. Then the other person just eats you because they're killers.
They're on you, yeah. They're trained to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So obviously I'll be pulling for Dustin. I believe the odds opened up 50-50, basically, today. Obviously still a long way to go for movement on that. So we're nearing the hour mark. Daugherty, I know you had other things. What do you want to close the show out on?
That was it, man. I wanted to get the aliens in there, and I figured we'd actually take the conversation elsewhere. So
wait, you told me you had topics, and you literally had one?
Yeah,
it worked, didn't it? I mean, we got to the hour mark pretty easily.
That's kind of funny.
We started talking.
Aliens.
I remember at one point I'm like, "Oh, we can talk about The Rock and Black Adam," and then you guys were like, "Oh, politicians," and I'm like, "All right, let's go here." And then we got sports. I'm like, "Okay." I mean, it worked out.
On the previous
Sometimes.
pods, I've talked about The Rock. On the previous pods, I've talked about The Rock. I have stated that I would draw up a 15-step plan for how I think he could be good. Because I've said that before, that I think him and Vin Diesel would be a great ticket. And the reason is because they would never lose a trade deal in the world. You put those two in the room, bam, done so. But I have other thoughts.
So,
You don't think they do?
I don't think The Rock and Vin Diesel get along. Like, I think it's like a well-known issue.
Oh, yeah.
The two of them like each other. Yeah.
It happened with
Rock and-
Fast 8.
Yeah. It was because, like, The Rock is big on, like, you wake up early, you get built, you get shredded, like, you work hard every day. And then I think Vin was more, like, relaxed about it.
The Rock and Schwarzenegger. Big Arnold, The Rock.
I can't believe
That's a deadly duo.
Can't believe he was the governor. But what happened with The Rock and Vin Diesel was that The Rock accepted the spin-off movie with Jason Statham for the Fast and Furious franchise. And so then a lot of the Fast and Furious family were upset at that because, and like Tyrese Gibson actually spoke out about it, saying like, we've all been offered spin-off movies, you don't do that type thing like with this. And I mean, I think it's whatever. I think they patched it up, Vin and The Rock did.
God.
But first, The Rock isn't in Fast and Furious 9. That actually just had a new trailer drop today. And it looks just as stupid and incredible as the rest of them. So,
yeah, you're a big Fast and Furious guy. I think they're good movies to just throw on while you're working on homework and stuff. But I've never watched one and I'm like, this is a masterpiece.
Well, do you know what movie I think we should all see together when it comes out? The new Suicide Squad.
Are you going to be as disappointed if it sucks?
Even more so. This one has Pete Davidson, and I'm a big fan of Pete Davidson, so... His character's name is Dick Hurts.
Do you know what happened with that? Apparently Pete Davidson was just walking by the set of Suicide Squad. They brought him in. They're like, hey, come here. Come on. And they gave him a one-day part or something like that. And he was just like, yeah, sure. Like that. I heard of that. I read that. I'm not sure somebody else in the audience can fact check me.
I think when he was on, I saw a TikTok of him on Jimmy Fallon, and he was talking about how James Gunn called him. He was like, hey, we've got a part for you in Suicide Squad. The character's name is Richard Hurts. And then Pete was like, Dick Hurts? His name is Dick Hurts? I'm in.
That's what it was then.
Which is the case.
I feel like you have to, just because.
Oh, absolutely. People have to call you that with a straight face for months on end as you're filming.
Yeah. I feel like people as notorious as Pete Davidson can only be one kind of character. Relatively. Like just a funny comedic character.
See, I thought so, but then I watched King of Staten Island, and if you haven't watched it, Zach, I highly recommend it. But he showed a lot of emotional vulnerability and depth in there. It was pretty cool to see.
Okay. That is interesting.
He showed a different side of himself.
I've never watched it, and I don't think I ever will.
Oh, it's good.
I just have no interest in... I just don't think he's... I'm not interested enough I can't talk. I'm not interested enough in him to watch a movie that generally wouldn't catch my attention.
Oh, I paid $10 for it.
Paid $10 for it?
Yeah, it was over every night.
That's rough. Even Zach's can't believe it.
Zach's like,
Well, okay, so I've seen Pete Davidson live. Actually, I think you guys do these type of things too. During the first week of school, we used to pre-COVID. You we have comedy night. We have we had Black Bear play one night for concert night, and then it's free for us. You just have to go and reserve your ticket online. So I went to comedy night, and Pete was performing. It's actually supposed to be Colin Jost from SNL Weekend Update, and then they replaced him with Pete. Is Pete Davidson actually funny?
Yeah.
He's a comedian.
His special on Netflix, Alive in New York, is really good.
I didn't like it. See, that's what I'm saying. It felt uncomfortable to me. And maybe I haven't talked about this too much on the pod, but I'm a big stand-up guy. I watch Rogan, Burt Kreischer, Dave Chappelle, Joe Coy, Tom Segura, and I don't know, Davidson's special. I was just it might be also because when we were at said comedy show, he told us we all suck, and that we're all taking videos on our phones, that we're all terrible people, and that it just really sucks that we're like this now as a generation. That made the news. That was hilarious.
I feel like generally the SNL cast isn't that funny anymore. I feel like they have good jokes written for them, but on their own, I don't think I could listen to any of them and be like, this is hilarious.
I think they all have their own unique sense of humor, and it's hard to mesh those into a
I'm listening to them on their own, and they're just not funny.
Really?
Michael Che's funny.
What?
I was going to say Michael Che.
Michael Che's funny. And he's on Weekend Update.
I would say he's an exception then, because he is funny. But the majority of the cast is just not as great. And I've never listened to Rogan do stand-up. I've listened to him, hours of him, doing podcasts, but I've never listened to a single stand-up. Besides from, certain very funny clips that you have pulled up on YouTube for us.
Yeah. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch his stand. He has 2 specials on Netflix. Go watch them now. We're ending the podcast now, for real, and you're gonna go watch them. I love Joe Rogan's stand-up. He's really funny. He's got Strange Times, and he has Triggered that came out in 2016, right before the Hillary and Trump election. That's absolutely gold.
That's fantastic. I'll have to give it a watch.
Yeah, it's free on Netflix. I really like Rogan. I have tickets to see him. I just don't know if I'm going to be here in Florida when it happens. It was supposed to be last year, and then it got rescheduled because of the pandemic.
Well, at least it got rescheduled.
Yeah.
And it didn't just get straight up canceled.
It's true. But yeah, boys, we're right at the hour mark. So thank you boys for coming on. This is a ton of fun. And yeah, I'm excited to.
It was awesome.
Yes, thank you for having us, Zach.
Yeah, of course.